Hey everyone, welcome to Wealth Redefined. I'm your host, Michael Reynolds, certified financial planner and owner of Elevation Financial on the web at elevationfinancial.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today, we're talking about health insurance, how to pick a health plan, some preferences, some questions to make choosing easier. So, just starting off, health insurance is one of the most significant financial protections we have in the US right now because the cost of healthcare can be astronomical, as many of us know. Not having health insurance can result in exposure to massive medical bills. In fact, as many as two-thirds of people who file bankruptcy blame medical bills as the primary cause. As many as 550,000 people file for bankruptcy each year because of this. So, because of this risk, simply having health insurance is one of the smartest financial moves you can make. But with many different options available, coverage can be overwhelming, or choosing coverage can be overwhelming. So you want to understand your healthcare needs and your personal preferences, and that can help you narrow down the number of plans to consider. So, with the exception of special life events that trigger unique enrollment opportunities, insurance plans can't be changed outside of the annual open enrollment period. Um, so changes in health status might not align with this time frame. So you want to ensure that you have a plan that covers you and any dependents or a spouse for any possible contingency. So this is a following list of questions to help you identify and prioritize your personal preferences when you're looking at plans. So each question, we're going to kind of discuss specific notes about it, the relevance, and how it might affect the plan you choose. So as we go through these questions, think about the healthcare you've needed so far and what you might expect or want or need in the coming year. So let's first start with access to care. First question, do you have any current doctors or physicians that you want to continue to see? So insurance companies offer doctors a chance to join their network, and there are many mutual benefits that come from that agreement. So these networks are then offered to you as an enticement to choose the health plan. Most plans have better rates for using in-network doctors, and so you want to know if your doctor is going to be considered in-network for the plan you choose. So first, look for that. Next, are there any pharmacies near your home or where you work that you prefer to use for prescriptions? Are there any hospitals in your area that you want to ensure are covered? So, similar to how doctors can join insurance networks, hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies can also join these networks and be in network with your insurance company. So, you want to check on those as well. Next, are you okay if the plan requires you to get a referral from your primary care doctor in order to see a specialist? Some plans, especially HMO plans, require you to get a referral from your primary care doctor before you can go to a specialist. And specialists are doctors that have specific education and training in a specific field like dermatology, neurology, cardiology, etc. So if you anticipate needing those services, a plan that requires you to go through a gatekeeper of a referring primary care doctor might not be the best for you. Also note that a referral by your primary care physician does not guarantee coverage under your plan. So always check with your insurance before you go to that appointment with a specialist. And then next, do you travel within the US frequently? If you do, would you need coverage that has access to a nationwide network of doctors, or would a more restricted regional network be sufficient? So insurance networks can be regional or they can be nationwide. Regional networks are limited to a geographic area, and that can sometimes make them more affordable. Nationwide networks allow you flexibility to see in-network doctors anywhere in the US. And regional networks are often statewide, but a few of them might be specific to several local counties even. So in an emergency, ambulances and medical treatment at the ER will be covered even if you go outside the network. However, frequent travelers might want to see an in-network doctor for other minor things, cold, flu, prescriptions, and that can only be accessible with a nationwide network. All right, let's move on to financials. So financial questions would be, one, do you currently have a health savings account, which is an HSA, or would you like a plan that is compatible with them? So HSAs are a great way to set aside money on a pre-tax basis to pay for qualified medical expenses. HSA accounts are compatible with high deductible health plans. So any unused funds can roll over year after year and be invested to grow for the future. So you might want to look at that. If you want an HSA or you have one and want to keep it, that's going to be important. Next, is the out-of-pocket maximum associated with the plan a potential cost you could afford or budget for? So the out-of-pocket maximum is the most you will pay out of pocket for covered health services in a year. The deductible, any co-payments and co-insurance that you pay, medical care, will all count toward that out-of-pocket maximum each year. Plans that offer out-of-network benefits will have a different out-of-pocket maximum amount for in-network versus out-of-network. So it's really helpful for determining the worst case scenario for a given year. It'll help you estimate the potential impact on your personal finances in a year with a high number of medical costs or with a service that might have a high cost. Next, when considering your upfront costs for healthcare, would you prefer to pay a higher monthly premium but a lower cost for individual medical services received? Or would you prefer to pay less each month in premiums but have a higher cost responsibility when you receive medical care? It's kind of a convoluted, long way of asking the question, but that's kind of is what it is. So it has a lot to do with your risk tolerance and your financial situation. So if you have the savings to cover the out of pocket maximum for your plan, choosing a lower monthly premium can potentially save you a lot of money in the months that you don't have many medical services. Alternatively, a plan with a higher monthly premium can lower costs at the time of service and can be easier to manage and budget for. So take a look at your emergency fund and see what you could cover. Next, would you prefer to pay a flat rate copayment for each doctor visit, or would you be comfortable with a percentage-based cost? So, if the plans you're comparing have similar out-of-pocket costs, this question is more about your personal preference for an organization. So, plans with flat rate copayments can often have higher monthly premiums or fixed costs. These plans um, are kind of pay in advance. They can be really easy to manage because the flat rate copay is the same each time you go to the doctor. The plans are great if you have a lot of regular repeat services with an in-network doctor, for example, mental health or regular checkups. Alternatively, if you don't mind navigating a percentage-based coinsurance, you might find the coinsurance option to have a lower monthly cost and be more attractive. All right, let's move on to insurance carriers. Do you have any insurance companies you prefer to work with or that you refuse to work with? Each carrier has its own perks and benefits, and you might consider the size of their doctor network, the quality of their customer service, or even the design of their websites and tools. You want to weigh all these things against your personal preferences. So, for example, if it's important to have an app on your phone to check claims and find doctors, that might be silly to someone, but to you, it might be something that's really important to you, and you might prioritize that over even costs. Next, if you choose to change carriers, do you feel like it's worth the effort required to make the switch? So, if you do want to make a switch, maybe to save money, will you need to find new providers? Will you be required to move your medications to a new pharmacy? Does the new insurance carrier use the same bank or different bank for an HSA plan if you have one? If you need to wait for new ID cards, will that be okay timing for you? You might have to restart your deductible and then out of pocket maximum if you're making the change mid year due to a life event. Is this something you can afford? And then finally, do any of the health insurance plans come with additional perks or benefits that you want to use? So many insurance companies have discounts for healthy lifestyle programs like silver sneakers or discounts to other wellness resources. And if you utilize those benefits or you want to, consider the priority of those services against your preference for the company. All right, let's move on to types of service covered. So if you're considering coverage through an employer or your spouse's company or retiree benefits, different plans might cover different types of services. So you'll want to consider what services are covered under each plan. So one, do you want coverage for things like alternative therapies? So in addition to covering doctors, pharmacies, and hospitals, some plans have coverage for things like, um, you know, naturopathic services, acupuncture, chiropractic, massage. If you want to utilize those services, you might want to choose a plan that covers those things. Also, do you prefer the convenience of telemedicine? Even before COVID, some people preferred to use telemedicine instead of going to their doctor's office. This was especially true with visits that don't require a physical exam, such as mental health or discussing test results or a minor kind of thing. If you feel you could benefit from this option of telemedicine, you might want to consider a plan that covers telemedicine. Next, are there any annual or lifetime maximums on any of the covered services that you would like to use? So, insurance plans can often have a benefit limitation in the form of a maximum number of visits annually or maximum dollar amount. So, a list of services that are often limited include dental and orthodontics, hearing aids, vision, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, fertility treatments, and durable medical equipment. So, you might want to confirm with your insurance if you currently use or are planning to use any of those things. And then finally, are you expecting any large medical events in the next year, such as planned surgery or pregnancy? So, the most important question of all could be if you are expecting a large medical cost, you want to prepare your plan selection around that event, and that might be your top priority. So, consider doctors you'll need, out of pocket maximum on your plan, and the timing of your event within the year. So, prioritize your preferences and choose a plan that's going to suit your needs for this year. You can always make a new selection during the next open enrollment period for the following year. So ultimately, when choosing a health plan, you want to consider budget, personal preferences, health needs, risk tolerance, all before making a decision. So it's not an exhaustive list of things, but it does cover some of the key important considerations as you're thinking through what type of health insurance you want to choose. And be sure you get health insurance in the first place. I've met a lot of people that, they think, oh, I don't need health insurance in the short term. Something happens, huge medical bills, and it can be disastrous. So make sure you always have health insurance in place. All right. With that, as always, you can reach out to me on my website, which is elevationfinancial.com. You can send me a message there, or better yet, book a free consultation if you want to chat and maybe consider becoming a client. And I'm pretty much on every social platform available as well. You can find me there and follow me if you want. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.